And we're
And we're
live.
live.
Woohoo! Welcome, everybody. Or at least,
Hello.
Laura. Hey, Laura. Thanks for coming during Canadian Thanksgiving. Oh, hold up. My TV went on screensaver. There it is. Oh, what a hot mess. Why, yes. Oh, let's see the food. So, roasted chicken, stuffing, scalloped potatoes, steamed carrots, followed by pumpkin pie and ice cream. Oh my God, Laura, I wish I could, teleport over there for dinner. Not that you invited me. But anyhow. Let's see.
That sounds delicious.
Tom is here in the chats. Laura is here cooking the Canadian Thanksgiving dinner. And, yep.
CB.
Oh, there's CB. CB's here.
well, eventually.
Well, yeah, eventually CB will be here. And here's Everette doing double duty in the chat. Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
You all know me. I'm Glory, and I write fiction and nonfiction, and I do this show with my brother, and that's why it's Awkward Siblings. And we have a very special guest today, Everette Minshew, who is a super long time best friend tier person who paints as a hobby. And one of his other hobbies is he composes music because, it's the 21st century. I don't know.
People still do that.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to me, frankly. That people were still composing new contemporary classical music. I had no clue. No. I mean, I literally asked as a child, is there any new classical music? And my parents said, no, that's why it's classical. Everybody's dead.
I did not know there were new classical composers until a little ways into college.
Well, then I definitely don't feel bad. Because, apparently no one around me knew either.
Right.
So, today, our topic is about creativity outlets and how those kind of creativity activities, I love saying that, creativity activities, helps everyone cope with stress. I have this feeling like a lot of people have experience with stress and maybe certain creative activities have helped them cope. So that's all we're going to talk about. I don't know what we're going to do. We're winging it. Welcome to Winging It.
My life is completely stress-free, and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about.
Everett is a curmudgeon. He's a grumpy old man. It's probably when were you first grumpy? At 5?
I was born grumpy.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's never stopped. So, the wit is dry. And then we may have some more people join us later in the live stream. I have no idea what's going to happen. Life is, unpredictable. May I recommend that you color to cope with the unpredictability? I'm just saying. Let's see. And Charlie is here. Hey.
Howdy.
All right. So, does anybody want to start off with, or Everett, would you like to introduce yourself beyond my terrible introduction?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, y'all. I'm Everette Minshew. I've known Glory and Tom for way too long. This is my neck pillow. I'm rather fond of it. I'm a composer. I've been composing for 20 years. And I've been painting as a hobby for about 15. A little longer than that, I guess. Yeah, probably almost 20 as well.
Yeah, I'm about to say, haven't you been painting longer than you have a son?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Because the Gremlin's about to be 15, and I've been painting for probably closer to 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And I compose contemporary classical music mainly for chamber groups, like small groups of musicians. That's my favorite. And
then don't you do some experimental types of music?
Yes, that's my favorite stuff. The murder music.
Oh yeah, I write music a lot. Fairly often I write pieces that can be performed by any group of instruments, and it's called open instrumentation music. So if you have enough musicians to cover whatever notes are on the page, you can play it. So that stuff is fun. I enjoy it a lot. And I'm hoping to start recording those next fall.
Oh, nice.
So
I just popped Everett's Twitter account in the chat, where he's most active, and he has lots of opinions. I delight in them. We have really bonded over our love of Prince.
Oh, I love Prince so much.
And cooking. Prince and cooking. Yeah, that's us.
Definitely cooking.
And I do really enjoy Everett's paintings. Even when he puts them in the trash, I like to dig them out.
She's done that multiple times.
Yep. And yeah, you've loved them so much you begged for them back. So I'll be coming back for the pieces later.
I know.
So anyway, Tom, did you either want to intro yourself, or I mean, like, it's always fun to practice, or you were talking to me for like an hour before about all your ideas for the show, which was technically originally supposed to be our first show, and then all we had was technical difficulties, and so I literally just put it at the tail end, and that's why it's episode 9 instead of 8 episodes for this season 1, is because I was like, I love this topic. I'm not going to let the gremlins take it away from us.
I was going to say, well, what I was talking about before was creative outlets. I feel like is both sides we need to talk about, because not just what you do to express yourself, but also the stuff you do to kind of recharge your creativity.
Yeah.
You know, which, you know, for us, one of the more fun things we do is we go, well, especially I just go on Amazon and Hulu, going through movies and just look for weird movies and mediocre movies. And Gloria and I really have harsh inner critics. You know, thanks, Mom.
Can't imagine, yeah.
So it's really, if we are not like already amazing at it, it's hard for us to start on stuff.
That's fair.
So one of the ways that kind of helps us ease into creative projects like writing and expression is we then watch a whole bunch of people who've actually gotten published, who have made movies. And we're just like, we could write better. Or not even just better, just
somehow a little bit different, a little bit more.
We have a different idea.
Our interest in the story.
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun if the story had taken this turn or that turn?
Right.
Instead of the way they went?
Right. Like that my favorite newest movie version, which is that Christmas movie with Henry Golding in it. Last Christmas.
Yeah, I hate that song so much.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm not a huge fan of the song. I mean, I don't actually really have strong opinions, but the movie, it is, delightful, trashy, and I do love trash. Mm-hmm. But there's a couple places I would have taken it in a different turn. Also, I can't remember the actress's name. The whatever.
Emilia Clarke.
Yeah, that one. I was like, the Mother of Dragons. I don't remember that one. I feel like they did not really utilize her best skills in acting, that she really could have just been a placeholder for any random actress that would have fit the costume, and instead of really utilizing her skills. And so there were several times watching it that I was like, oh, I would have taken it this direction, or I would have had the dialogue this way. And that is the kind of mediocrity we're talking about, of where there's a space that you feel like maybe you could improve on it. And that's kind of inspiring in its own way.
Instead of just, going through writing prompts, actually just watching other creatives work and going, but what if this happened? Mm-hmm. And watching trailers, there's so many things you can come up with, because it's a short idea of how to start a story. In most trailers, unless they're the really bad trailers that we're just going to show you the whole movie condensed into 2 minutes.
The greatest crime against movies.
But it's just, it's another form of writing prompts.
It is. So, CB has come back. Hello. And Charlie is definitely, I would go with non-binary grumpy. I think that's a thing. I think a curmudgeon does not have to necessarily be a man, because I have felt very curmudgeonly many times in my life and still not a full-grown man.
I have known some old biddies who definitely qualified as curmudgeons.
Yeah, curmudgeons. And yes, let your grump flag fly.
I mean, you were telling me last night about, a few little old biddies from Oxford.
Oh, okay. I will tell you the ultimate, this is if you live in the South, then you understand why this is so terrible. The problem with bamboo being from Asia, and it's not a native plant, is it grows and it grows and nothing ever stops it. Unlike in Asia, where it has, all sorts of wildlife and insects that eat on it, so it doesn't grow unchecked, unlike here in the deep South where it does grow unchecked.
Also, it grows down to up to 6 feet down, so it's hard to
it'll grow out. No, they've now tested it. It will grow 20 feet down here, because what was it, Felder Rushing?
Yeah,
he was talking about that a couple years ago about the Mississippi State agriculture people have actually tested in some spots, and they found bamboo and bamboo rhizomes 20 feet down below the earth. I mean, so it's like, good luck. Once it's in there, you can never truly get out. You will be picking bamboo weeds for the rest of your life. This is it. Well, anyway, so here's what these evil biddies used to do. They would go to somebody's house who was having a yard sale or a barbecue or something. Somebody, essentially that whole my grandma told your grandma she gonna set your flag on fire, that kind of relationship. And they would have a little bamboo slip and they would plant it behind a bush in their rivals' backyards and just let that work its magic, because it grows down first before it grows up.
So cruel.
I mean, because once those rhizomes are in there, you are screwed. So, yeah, I was telling Tom about that yesterday, because I caught a little old lady doing that. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, nothing, dear, move on. And then a few weeks later, I overheard the lady who owned that house talking about, I found bamboo. Somebody has come on my property. I'm sure I know who it is. And I'm like, I literally know who it is. So I told my mama, and she's like, let me go talk to them and see if we want to tell them who it is. It was at the Episcopal Church rummage sale. That's where this went on, afterwards, where it was like, I know who it is, Mama. Should I tell? And there's Mama Sharon going, let us investigate. You stay away from this whole controversy. They may light your bicycle on fire. There's no telling.
Right.
So yes, curmudgeons, I feel like, could be any age and any gender.
I wrote a piece a couple years ago called "Get Off My Lawn" for 2 cellos.
And what do you sample from?
I took a little melody from the song "Get Off" by Prince and put it in there too.
Yes. Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Good,
it's so lovely to see you.
Howdy.
Hi.
Would you like to do a quick intro, for the rebroadcast?
Okay. I'm Stephanie Whitman. I have a YouTube channel. My book is published on the 26th, and I'm glad to be here. I don't know what you would like me to tell about my day.
Okay. Awesome. Did you have any thoughts immediately about creativity outlets? Do you have anything this is on my list I want to talk about before? And I feel like that's always a good dive. Let's get this out of the way first, because we'll meander.
Well, I personally, I like doing paper crafts, crocheting, but my daughter, she likes taking books that she really likes reading and making up stories, like doing her own version of fanfic at 10 years old. But that's what she likes doing. And she also likes making cat pictures and like figurines out of paper and making like pretend play with that. Or she makes up entirely complicated family scenarios with her stuffed animals.
Oh, I do love stuffed animal drama. I have to admit, it is one of my favorites.
Yes.
Oh, the telenovelas of the stuffed bears. Like, yeah. Jules is here. Hello, darling. It's so lovely to see you again. It's like I saw you just a few hours ago. It's so nice. So nice. Laura says the chicken's out of the oven and beautiful scalloped potatoes are now in. May I ask
We're on our way
to take pictures and post them in Charlie's Discord? Because, of course, I definitely want to see, or Instagram or wherever you're going to post it. Let me know so I know where to go look. CB says, I had fried eggs and french fries earlier for dinner tonight, and it was great. Oh, it sounds so good. It does. Laura wants to know, is it kudzu or bamboo? So, technically, we have both. But what this little lady was doing was she was planting a slip of bamboo. But you could do it with kudzu.
Well,
kudzu is not quite as horrifying down here in the deep south as bamboo if it gets down, especially near the house. So it is going to wreck your pipes. Unlike kudzu, which grows above the ground mostly.
Yeah, kudzu. That's if you look. I had a comment about it. Yeah, the next one, because kudzu, as far as if it's been recently planted, is easy to get rid of.
Right.
Because it just stays on the surface. It doesn't root deeply. It doesn't have rhizomes or anything. So you can pull it out pretty quick if you get to it young. But yeah, bamboo, it just goes down first and establishes.
All right, it is virulent.
Isn't it illegal to plant kudzu?
Yep.
It's also illegal in Mississippi to plant, what is it? I've heard of both Kogon grass and Congo grass, but that one, whatever that one is. For some reason, nobody can agree on how to spell it, but it's Kogon or Congo grass, and it is also a real problem.
I don't really know what that is.
Set fire to it.
You can set fire to it, and it'll still come back. So it survives forest fires, which is problematic.
So I live nowhere near you all.
No, right? You're on the opposite side. You just you've been dealing with forest fires. In fact, I think.
Forest fires, yes, but I'm just saying, like this whole bamboo revenge thing, not a thing over here. We don't even have bamboo over here, so.
Mississippi has
maybe
a lot
like
of
the most that we would do would be like, I'm gonna set a gopher loose in your garden. I don't know.
Where are you?
Oregon.
Oh, cool.
Like smack dab in Central Oregon.
Neat.
Yeah. I think Oregon's just too cool, like literally, temperature-wise, too cold for the tropical plants like bamboo to really become invasive, unlike down here where, I mean, we maybe get a couple hard freezes if we're lucky in a year. We mostly don't. So, yeah, everything grows. We would be tropical if we did not get the hard freeze at least once a year that we do. So that's why you don't see banana groves yet, although apparently they're working on that.
Yeah, pretty much. If we don't have a hard frost, we'll probably start having bananas.
So climate change, it's going to be wild.
I like bananas.
Right? CB says clarinet practice sucked today. I'm so sorry. Everett would know about that.
At least you're practicing. I can't play an instrument, so I learned how to play a song on the drums once when I was like 18, but other than that, I've forgotten that skill.
Well, since today's
No, you're fine.
Since today's practice didn't go well, hopefully tomorrow's will be much better.
I always feel bad for clarinets though for practice because oh god, that squeak. It is hard to go on. As said by a brass instrument player.
Yeah, because we're tromboners. Yeah, like we're trombonists, and we just, we're totally, that whole B flat. That's a jam, y'all. Tom does say you attack neighbors with bamboo. Yeah, and he went over that. So, Jules said, "Oh Lordy, it just caught up on the chat. Never heard of the bamboo revenge. It's a deep south thing. It's not a problem. You could do that elsewhere, but it's if you get a hard freeze, you're not going to have that problem. The bamboo will not survive. Our dirt does not freeze down here ever. And that's why, like, it's not wise to go walking barefoot because you can get nematodes, you can get worms in the human skin. But idiots still do it. I'm not eating junk till nano. Oh, but salt, that is so delicious. Okay, so my life found a way to get started. Wait, what?
And Charlie?
I am calling tinfoil shenanigans on all this. Oh, about what's going on with Charlie? Oh, something has gotten stranger. Oh dear. I hope the gas station has not lit, because there's a brick and mortar fireworks store next to the gas station, I think down the road from them.
Yeah, that's what he was saying, and that the fireworks brick and mortar place caught on fire.
And I was like, well, I hope not the gas station, because like around here, we have literally had that, like not down the road from us here, but elsewhere in South Mississippi, where the fireworks caught and then the gas station caught because they hadn't updated their equipment since the 60s. So safety precautions. I don't know what that is. Laura says your life soundtrack must be done by Weird Al. I can relate. Abigail is here. Hello, darling. It's lovely to see you. Look, do you know what I would do if we could have pandas in the Deep South?
Deep fry it?
Stop. No. Stop eating everything. Everett, do tell us about your family of gopher turtles. Anyway.
I've eaten plenty. They're tasty.
Everett introduced his family to me a long time ago with my family may be single-handedly responsible for the near extinction of the gopher turtle. And I was like, that is amazing. They have brought the gopher turtles back from near extinction, so it's fine. They're adorable.
And tasty.
You know, I have a theory that's why your health is not great, is because you're not eating enough turtles to keep it going, that your family has genetically adapted to turtles. CB says, my motto is, I'm glad my practice sucked, because it means by the time we get to March, I'll be amazing. Yes. Keep at it.
Sorry, you broke a reed, CB.
Yeah. So that was the thing about the clarinets in my school band. They were mean girls. I was really glad to be in trombone because they did this terrible thing to each other. Yes, there were a lot of mean girls in North Mississippi. I'm just saying, no matter what their age. They would put reeds that were about to split, and they would slip them into each other's clarinet cases, because when you're playing in band and you are about to switch out your reed, you're not paying attention. You just grab whatever's on top. And if you are playing a reed, in clarinet at least, when it splits, it can split your lip open. Bad.
Same for saxophone.
Like you got punched in the face, split open. And that's what these mean girls would do to each other. And I was like, I'll just stay over here in trombone. Because, see, I thought originally trombone would lead to playing the saxophone. And that was what I had wanted to play. And I was misled by my band director. He pretty much flat out lied to me. And once I found out, I had considered switching to clarinet. And then I found out how scary the clarinet girls were. And I was like, I'll just stick over here in trombone. Don't mind me. Where they're all just puppy dogs with trombones. It's fine. Yes, pandas only eat one kind of bamboo. And we don't grow that specific species. It is true. We grow, I think most of the bamboo here, they grow scaffolding bamboo. That you can actually use for construction work for some reason. Let's see, Charlie. The building now looks absolutely like nothing happened, but we have found more witnesses to the explosive fire. There's a dump truck out in front of it, but no other signs of carnage.
Where is this?
Not anywhere near us.
Oh.
Yes. I've seen girls though when they're with the reed splits and like they look like they got punched in the face really bad. Like their lip was split pretty deep in, and one girl I know ended up having to get a stitch because it would not stop bleeding all day at school. So change your reeds.
Yeah.
This is why I'm glad I never decided to play an instrument in school, and I went and did the whole choir thing. So I'm glad I decided on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that every school band is like full of sociopaths and psychopaths. I'm just saying, yeah, ours was. And I was in the safe section with the trombonists who were really lovely people. And there was one other girl, and it was nice, like, ooh. And yeah, we were friends for years. Like, that was our bonding. But although the percussion was really sweet.
So, Stephanie, what's your creative outlet?
I
Would it be writing? What, maybe writing.
Yes, I write. Yes.
Stop putting words in her mouth, Glory.
I'm sorry. I'll keep drinking.
Sorry. My creative outlet is I write, and I color, like coloring books sometimes, and I like making crocheted projects. Although the last one I did was like 3 years ago, because the person I made it for passed away. So I was like, that was a lot of work because I redid this blanket. It was a wheelchair like lap blanket for her. I redid it like 4 times because I kept on messing up. So since then, I haven't really picked up the yarn again. Yeah, I think, yeah, hand stuff I like doing. How about you guys? What do you guys like doing?
Well, let's see. Crochet. It's been years, but I mean, we just enjoy painting. Whenever we can. And then one's the definitely on the edge of what some people consider creative outlets, but going for drives and doing what they're now calling forest bathing.
Have you heard about that?
So they found that there's distinct health benefits to walking or just being in the woods. In Mississippi, everything's the woods.
It's true. I mean,
we have in the entire state, I think we have 1 or 2 square miles that qualify as urban.
And all the rest is rural.
And so we'll just literally go on drives with the windows down and, go drive out in the woods. And it's just really pretty. We still have air conditioning, which you need down here. Some of the theories is that you breathe in all the trees make their own stuff to protect them from mold and fungus and other things that would attack them naturally, and they think breathing in those chemicals gives your body a little break in its immune system because it helps protect your lungs a little bit. But they're not really sure why.
As well as
they
your
just know it
skin.
helps.
That'll also stick to your skin, which will also help you if you have skin problems. Like I have psoriasis. And like in Japan, they've studied it and found that it's helped people's immune systems and any skin problems they might have, as well as their psychological sense of peace.
Well, I know that when we go on drives from where we're at in the middle of Central Oregon, it's a high desert, so it's lots of brown trees, So, like every couple months, we'll take a drive to the coast. We'll drive through all the trees. We'll go to the coast for a day or two, breathe in the nice fresh air, breathe in the green trees, breathe in the smell of trees that's been rained on. It's very relaxing, so I can see how that can move on to benefiting your body other ways.
Charlie just brought up another of my favorites.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, it's like Charlie knows, like, all the subjects you went over about an hour and a half ago that you wanted to talk about. But first, let's go over it. CB says, I write, I play clarinet, I dance, and every now and then I will knit. And right now, one of my support workers and I are making a poster for Nano. That's really cool. I have a sewing machine, and I'm going to learn to use it. That's awesome.
So does Glory.
Yes.
I I recently found out through listening to NPR, The World, or something, and they were just talking about people around the world of a couple textile companies in Ghana that, and they ship internationally, and it's like, ooh, these fabrics look nice. These actually look fun. You know, they look so much more fun than the stuff over at, Hobby Lobby and Joann's that just, it's so basic.
Yeah.
They are amazing. Yeah, Charlie says, wait, am I allowed to say that drinking is my creative outlet? If that is allowed, then yes, that. Tom?
And yes, it's like making different drinks. Like, I was experimenting last night with stuff I have learned recently for how professional cocktail
Mixologists, whatever.
Yeah, make, the professional tasting ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I made some, margaritas with the new info, and Gloria's just like, there's not enough alcohol, and it's like, oh, there's plenty of alcohol, put more in.
It was very smooth, is what we're really getting at. It was delicious,
really couldn't taste the alcohol
very
much.
smooth. It was not harsh in any way, which is my main complaint about alcohol.
Yeah.
And so, Gloria just had her personal picture of margaritas.
Shut up!
As we just, kept watching Stan against Evil.
It was not my personal. He had out of it too.
I don't like drinks that I can taste the alcohol in. So I get you, Glory. It's all right.
It tasted honestly like a complex limeade, and so it was really nice because Tom had peeled the limes first with a vegetable peeler, and then with those strips of lime peel, mixed sugar into it to help draw out the lime oil. And let that sit for a little bit. And then when he added that at the last minute to the margaritas, it just blasted that flavor, that delicious, I love lime flavor. And so it was amazing.
What is that called when you put the citrus peels with sugar and let it kind of macerate? I was reading about this recently.
Yeah, it's a Latin phrase. It's
vocabulary.
It's like, sucro sugar, sucro citrus or something.
Yeah.
It was amazing because I saw him peeling the limes, and I'm like, this seems like a lot of trouble. But it was 1,000% absolutely worth the effort.
And then also a little bit of orange bitters.
Yes.
To also finish sort of rounding out everything.
And I thought the orange bitters, again, would be harsh tasting because most bitters to me I do not like, but they worked really well. There was also triple sec in it, but again, it was just layers upon layers of flavor, but it was so smooth. And I'm normally rather sensitive to that harshness of alcohol. I'm not a fan. And I was like, I literally asked the first time I tasted, like, have you added the tequila yet? Have you added the triple sec? He's like, you have no idea. So.
Yeah, 2/3 of this by volume is, alcohols.
We had a great night. It was fun. We watched Evil.
I miss drinking. Oh, that sounds delicious.
Oh,
yes.
And then I also go bowling on Monday nights.
Oh, that sounds
drink
great.
while I bowl.
That sounds fantastic. I miss bowling.
That is the only way to bowl, I think. You have to be like, if you are playing pool or if you're bowling, there has to be alcohol consumed.
I mean, there's a full bar at the bowling alley.
You go.
So, I mean, you might as well.
Right.
Yes. Hey, Gloria, why don't you tell them about how you learned to bowl really well?
Why you bring this up? Why?
Because it just came about naturally.
Yeah, pretty much Tom and I sit around at night and we just tell each other stories. Okay, so that's just how it is. And I can't remember what prompted this memory, but I told him about how when I was a teenager, do you remember why I wanted to beat Mom at bowling? Like there was something about it.
Because she had been remember, it started because we were playing the Goldbergs game.
Yes.
And this came up in the Goldbergs game about how adults go easy on their kids until they get close to being teenagers, and then they're like, oh, no, here's my actual skill.
Right, and I was like, that happened to me, because when I was a kid, Mom, like, if she beat me, she barely beat me as a kid in bowling, but by the time I was a teenager, she's like, bets are off, little girl, what you gonna do? And I'm like, so I knew I needed to get better, because it was Mom. So So I'd get Dad to drop me off at the bowling alley. Like, I don't remember. It might have been Wednesday mornings because I was homeschooling by this point. At this point, I was back from boarding school, and I had realized I could not pass the foreign language fluency requirement in Canada. So I'd come back, and I was homeschooling and working as a babysitter. But apparently, nobody needed babysitters or nannies on Wednesday mornings for whatever the reason. So I had this time slot available, and I would ask Dad to drop me off at the bowling league when they first opened at 10 a.m. And I only had, enough for like 2 games. But the old men at the counter were like, "Why are you trying to bowl?" And I said, "Well, I need to learn to get better so I can beat my mom." And they're like, "Do you have $1?" Like, "Yeah, here's $1." Like, "All right, you rented the shoes. You can play till people show up." And they just let me play for free every week for several weeks on Wednesday mornings.
Wow.
Because people wouldn't show up till 2 or 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And so I had like 4 or 5 hours a day once a week to like play for free and until I got good. And then when we played bowling like the next month, Mom's like, "When did you get so good?" And I'm like, "Talent? I don't know." She didn't find out for a while that it was a conspiracy. Like, she was so ticked off because like Dad hadn't told her about this, and she's like, "Those old men let you play for free?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She wouldn't play with us after that. That was the last time she bowled with us.
So
That's
I
funny.
learned how to bowl at a bowling alley on the Oregon coast, and I didn't bowl for the longest time. And then I met my now husband, and he's been bowling since, I joke and say he's been bowling since he was born, because he's been bowling since like he's 5 or 6 years old.
Right.
He's 33 now. He's never bowled a perfect game, but he's got up to a 297.
Wow.
Okay.
wow.
So,
That's awesome.
right. But like, so I met him, and he's like, "Yeah, I go bowling every Saturday with my family." I'm like, "All right, that's cool. I'll just hang out. I'm not going to bowl." And then one day I decided I was going to bowl with him without his family because I didn't want to bowl around them if I was going to suck at it, which I'm glad because I bowled a whole 36.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, how
have
can
not-
he not fall in love with you, right?
I'm aiming for the gutter, people. Do you not understand? It's a talent.
Yes. So I'm like, that was horrible. So then that was in the summer, and then in the fall, I just hung out with him while he bowled with his league, and then the next year I joined him. But the first year that I bowled on league with him, it was one day that like everything aligned, like the moon and the stars and Jupiter and Mercury, it all aligned or something in the sky because I bowled a 201. Okay.
Wow.
I was
That's
like,
really good.
I'm on track to beat you finally. I'm going to beat you and it's going to be great. And it didn't happen. He bowled a 203. Like,
I mean, so close.
so freaking close. So my goal, I haven't bowled that well yet since then. Okay. But my goal is to beat him with a 200 or higher. And then I'm going to blow up the scorecard into like a poster size.
I was going to say, at least frame it.
I'm going to give it to his dad because his dad's the one that taught him to bowl. And I'm going to inscribe it on the bottom that says, "You suck as a teacher, do better."
Oh.
Yes. I mean, he knows this. They all know that's what I'm going to do. They all
Right.
think
Yeah. I mean, it's
a
all
joke,
in fun.
funny thing. Yeah, it's all in
Yeah.
fun. But I'm like, you could have let me have it. He's like, "No." No. Like, I was drinking
At least frame it, make it like a diorama, something.
Like, I was totally not sober. Like, I don't know what happened that day.
I'm doing
But-
amazing bowling if I break 100.
Right. Like now, like
Yeah.
if I get 100 or higher, I'm good. Like, that's an excellent day for me if I get 100 in each game. So, like last week I bowled like a 98 and 98 and a 103 or 110 or something. So,
Okay.
hey, you
My
know what?
average
It's
is
close.
probably like 75, 80.
It's been a while since
But
I've
it's a
bowled
blast. I
my
love
wrist.
doing it.
Yeah.
It's fun. There's 4 of us that bowl and we have a good time. And my
I've
kids have
always been
been
surprised about bowling staying popular because I just keep thinking like, this is a sport that everyone should be making fun of, and yet everyone has fun bowling.
It is just fun to do. You know,
That-
it's social. It's a social thing you can do, but it's not intensely social. So it's like casual. You don't have to make lots of small talk if you don't want to.
Right. You're like, oh,
Right.
how was your week? Oh, it's good. Like if you know people on your team or your league, you can talk. You know,
I mean,
things like that. But
the only problem I've ever had with bowling is that you can't eat foods while you bowl, or your hands will inevitably get greasy, and you can't.
that's why
grip the ball.
you use a fork. Or
using tools like a higher order hominid. What a shot!
Nachos are not fun with forks.
Look, I've learned to eat nachos with a fork, okay? Like, it's possible.
Or you use your hand that's not going to touch the bowling ball and eat your...
left-handed. You eat left-handed if you're a righty. You eat right-handed if you're a lefty.
Okay, that does sound wise.
I mean, Stephanie's got it figured out, okay? She's our bowling guru, and we will get better.
I mean, like, I could eat an hour before I go bowling. About midway through the first game, I'm like, I'm hungry again because, you know, I'm drinking. And when you drink, you get hungry.
Food. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Laura says, I haven't painted on my custom Converse shoes for a few years now. I have done Harry Potter, Star Wars, the Lorax, and have the shoes to start on for Loki and Batman. That sounds awesome.
That's cool.
It really does.
I would love to send pictures. I need to know. I need to see these. I need to vicariously live through your life, Laura. Also, am a bit jealous you're in Canada. But anyway, I get them autographed by actors, so I have my Marauders map shoes signed by Fred and George. Aw, that is so cool. Oh, killing me. My Star Wars shoes are autographed by Mark Hamill. Oh, Mark Hamill. That is so cool.
Yes, is it next week we start Go to the Movies?
Yes. Our new show, because this is the last show of the first season of Awkward Sibling Hour. Our new show will be Awkward Siblings Go to the Movies. And it's going to be great. The first episode is going to be about the original Star Wars trilogy and how it is the reason, A New Hope is the reason that Tom and I and our little sister exist. Our parents were, on their first date, they went to see it and were so inspired and talked about their, how they wanted to help create a world where, you know, a better world where people would be valued for who they are rather than their social or financial status or even their education levels, you know, and they both absolutely agreed on these things. And so Dad proposed and Mom said, I'll think about it. And a couple days later, she called him up and said, did you mean that? Or were you just saying that because we were having such a great time watching A New Hope twice that night? And he's like, I meant it if you mean it. And that's, they got married like 3 months later. So we're going to start with that one because that's the reason we are here, even though it's not like we hold it up on our pedestal, trust us. But we think it would be cool for writers as well as non-writers because we're going to talk about how movies tell stories. And it is a great way to learn storytelling or to hone your storytelling chops. And you can use storytelling not just for writing, but also just conversing with other people. Everett knows what that's like. Everyone down here is a storyteller to varying degrees.
Much.
Heather says, hi. Hello, Heather. It's like I just saw you a few hours ago. Let's see. CB, I have plain white pillowcases, which I'm going to get help to put pictures of pepper pots and stuff on. Then you can cuddle them or have the two pillows cuddle each other. CB is, since you probably don't know, CB writes fan fiction about Tony Stark and Pepper Potts that everybody kind of jokingly calls pepperoni, as in pepper and Tony. Pepperoni.
Right.
Kind of. And they have been doing some amazing like storylines about, like, honestly, CB, I don't know why you have not been hired by Marvel. Frankly, I love where you're going with the storylines. But that's just me. Let's see. I love bowling, but I don't drink. Drinking is not necessary to love bowling. I'm just saying. StreamYard did jump.
I love bowling a lot as a kid. Like, bowling
I
is
loved
just
bowling.
fun.
Heather's hubby used to bowl a lot. It is super fun. Everett in the chat said, I have a cousin that makes painted Converse for herself and her family, and they are so cool. Yes, share pictures. We need to know. Let's see. Heather says he was really good at it and had his own ball. That's how you know the commitment, when they've got their own ball.
Yeah.
My husband has, like, before we moved from his house into our travel our RV that we live in. I think he had like 9 different balls.
Wow.
But now he only has 2 or 3. And we keep our balls, our bowling balls in the locker at the bowling alley instead of in our house.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't even know that some bowling alleys let you keep them there.
Yeah, they have a
It
bunch
makes
of those
sense.
like squared
Yeah.
lockers that fit like, you can fit like 4 bowling balls and a pair of bowling shoes in there if you need to.
Nice.
Well, I've learned things today. CB says for the pillowcases, print transfer paper or maybe Faber pens. Very cool. We, of course, would love to see it if you'd love to share once you're done. Oh, skee ball. Darling, skee ball is my weakness. I will go anywhere if they have a skee ball, especially if they have the old wooden skee ball balls.
It's a lot of fun.
I will go. The dream is to one day become so successful that I can afford to either buy or make my own skee ball machine, whatever, and play skee ball every day at home. That's the goal, the dream. I will not die till I get this, so who knows how old I'll be. I don't care. Yes, we love skee ball. We love skee. CB says they usually have to put the, what are they called? The alley?
The barriers.
The barriers in the gutter. Yeah.
Oh, the bumpers.
Bumpers.
Yeah.
They're called something. And the bumpers. I love the bumpers. I also loved, honestly, I just love watching the balls bounce against the bumpers. It just, I'm sure somebody has videos of that.
I love it when, even with the bumpers, people still manage to gutter.
Okay. So Tom has beat me to my adoration of skee ball. I am there. Yes. Yes. Skee ball is a major plot point in Dogma. I have watched Dogma a lot because of that. I'm just saying.
Love that movie. I love it.
I've not seen it in ages.
Well, it may be time.
Maybe.
I have the full Kevin Smith collection.
We do have the full plus
Jersey or
all
whatever.
those when he would go speak at colleges, and those as well, where he
Nice.
spills the beans and he talks about Prince and Princeland. I'm just saying, Everett.
I have seen that.
Yes.
Of
Have
course
you
I
seen the
have.
follow-up where apparently he got contacted because they searched all over Princeland for that,
For the NDA.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they couldn't find it.
I have not seen the follow-up. I will have to look for it.
Right. It's worth it. It's worth watching. The story is good. CB says they just shut down the bowling alleys for 16 days here. Thankfully, they have a Nintendo Wii. Yes. It is actually one of the few reasons I actually considered getting a Nintendo Wii, truthfully. I still do not have one, but I thought about it.
Love the
It's
Wii.
money. That's all. That's why I don't have it. Heather says, as far as creativity, my kid who has autism loves art and he paints with me sometimes. He also likes to help me make cards for his grandma and others in our family. I was major into making cards as a kid and a teenager, and even in my early 20s. And then I learned that people didn't appreciate it, and I was like, moving on to something else because I am nothing without an audience. If you haven't noticed.
What was it called? Print Shop Studio?
Yes, I had like 10 of them because like every year there'd be a new one with new clip art and stuff. So I think I got off the print shop boat in like print shop 28. And I started like somewhere in the print shop late teens, like print shop 18 or something over the years. Yeah. Yes. Wait till after you bowl, then eat. Oh, no, it's terrible.
I want to do it all together.
Heather says we're going to be taking him to his baseball game tonight. Baseball is not as social as some sports. It is true.
Yeah.
It's still fun. I love hitting a ball. CB says my Converse blistered my heels because I wore them all day when I went to see Cats. Wouldn't you be sitting? Okay. I'm sure there's a story there. Yes. We love making cards in our family. Let's see. CB says I keep getting electric shocks off the skee ball machine in Vegas last year. Okay, that's not a good sign.
Well, although that may be because it's a static charge because
yeah, those
Vegas
plastic
is
balls.
so dry.
Well, and plus, if you're using plastic balls, they can build up an electric charge pretty fast. And with the friction of going up the lane, yeah. I mean, that's, again, the wooden balls are better. Plus, also, they feel amazing. I mean, yeah. Natalie has come by. That's not the one there. Hello, Natalie. It's lovely to see you. It's like I just saw you a little while ago. It's so lovely. Let's see. So, should we start and do a 15-minute timer sprint?
Yeah, it probably is about time for
Get hydrated, maybe take a bathroom break, or just, lurk for a little bit or write. I was thinking that we could do one of Doll's timers. This one just looks so pretty. Gonna mute this baby. Why were you going? You were going without me? Don't do that. Don't start. Okay. All right. Obviously, I don't know how to work buttons. I don't want to. Anyway. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm like a premature little old lady. I can't help it. I don't know how buttons work. Truthfully, I've always had a problem with those. Anyhow, so everybody be sure to save your work if you're actually trying to write and be productive, if you still have words left after the write-a-thon. And we will see you back here in 14 minutes and 52 seconds. Okay. 3, 2, 1, sprint! Hello, hello. How did everybody do? Stop sharing the screen and turn off the banner. See, I'm getting better at this.
It's a lot of buttons.
It's a lot of details, not my strength. I was just dancing that last minute because it's like, people, we're about to talk again. Okay. Anyway, I'm used to being the only extrovert in the room. Anyway, so what'd y'all get accomplished? Anything you want to share?
I ate a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Well,
I stared at the screen. I opened up a document and started typing up history questions. I homeschool my 3 kids, so I'm typing up a thing for my husband to print out at work for my daughter to answer questions that she's reading about in her history book.
Nice.
That's what I'm doing. That's how I'm being creative right now.
I mean, that is creative because you have to like get out of your comfort space to think about, all right, what does somebody who doesn't know this history, what do they need to know through question and answer?
Yeah. And I mean, she's 7th grade and her, not bragging, but her IQ is a little higher than the average person.
Mm-hmm.
Like we thought she might be on the spectrum, so we got her evaluated, and it turns out that her only issue is that she was bored all the time because her IQ is like a 125, 130, and she's 12. So it's a lot of like, what can she do and what should she do? You know, like just because she's 12 and she can read that well doesn't mean she should read Atlas Shrugged or something complicated. You know, or you know what I mean? Like, she's able to understand it,
Right.
but the topic isn't too out of her maturity level, I guess. So, yeah, we're doing like modern history, like from the Revolutionary War onward.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's not my favorite part of history to study, so I mean, I like history, but it's not my favorite part.
Right. Everett?
I normally work on music or painting, but in the last year and a half, I do a lot of Duolingo. And I decided to start on Esperanto about 2 or 3 years ago. And so then I fell down the rabbit hole of constructed languages. And so I'm working on my own constructed language, and I've been working on it for like the last year and a half. And right now I'm working on verb tenses.
Be careful about constructive languages. They tend to lead to you writing books and stories just to show how cool the language is.
Nope.
This is what happened to Tolkien.
It is what happened.
I know.
It's a slippery slope. Tom, do you want to share anything?
I just started making up a list of YouTube channels that I feel are really good for when you kind of want to learn a new hobby and stuff. Because, you know, I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and it is really good to learn different things, and I have a large variety of interests.
You do have a lot of resources, too, for that.
So it's like, here, let me just make up a long list of these different ones and, you know, just share with other people of, like, these are good starter places, like, you may not even think of, because, you know, the first skill in to Google is to figure out what is the language of, you know, that hobby. So you can
what is
actually
the
find
jargon?
the good ones.
Yeah, the buzzwords, the keywords. That's true. I ate some smoked chicken and toast that Tom made me because I had forgotten to eat today. Again. I am just a hot mess, especially from Write-a-thon. I am still recovering. I don't know how everyone else is doing, but I am freaking exhausted. It was like a convention, only I did not have to leave my house.
It sounds like it.
Seriously.
I mean, it was fun. It was awesome. I've met a bunch of new people. I'm really happy about that. But also I'm like, oh, need to recover. The only thing that I really love more about this than actual conventions is I did not pick up the convention cough or the convention cold, that inevitably happens. Look, I am really happy with this. Because I'm so sick of going to cons. And I mean, it's the souvenir everybody comes away with.
Right.
And so it's nice to know, oh no, my exhaustion is just from just interacting so much for so many days. And I did get some things written up. I typed up some outlines and things. Today, though, for our sprint, after eating the toast and smoked chicken that Tom made, which was delicious, I tried to update the links in the description with Everette and Stephanie's info because I did not know till right before, and so I did not get things updated. So now they are somewhat updated. Stephanie, for you, I only put it in your YouTube because I knew that one. But if you want others, let me know. If you want your Instagram or your Twitter or your website or all the awesome. I don't know. Whatever.
Right. I got your message on Instagram. I'm replying to it now.
No pressure.
So.
We could do it tomorrow. I don't care. I just want y'all to know I do appreciate you coming, and I also want everybody to be able to appreciate how awesome you are. Y'all are in the description, and you are great. And I will probably update the actual description itself later, but I at least had the links in there. So let's see, what did everybody else do? Let's see, Natalie says, ever get halfway through a sprint and want to change what you're doing? I'm editing and thinking of changing projects outline. Oh yes, the constant oh, what about this? What about this? Da-da-da. Yes, I have on average, I don't know, truthfully, if you go over my entire catalog of writing, there's technically probably 30 unfinished projects that I still keep revisiting at least once or twice every year for the last decade and get a little bit further until I hit another wall and I'm I don't know what to do with these characters. I'm going to let them percolate. They can go live their lives while I figure it out. Heather had to go. Bye-bye, Heather. Hope the baseball game goes well. And Laura went off to go watch a movie and eat her amazing, beautiful dinner. So envious. We will be over in a little bit. I'm kidding. It's not true. Let's see. CB got dessert and hot tea because they are freezing. I think I'm going on a limb because I may embarrass myself here. I think CB's in Northern Ireland, or was it Scotland? Oh, God, why am I like this? Anyway, they're someplace cold and wet. So the tea is very understandable. Microwave some rice. I don't know. The dry rice. You know how you do the thing. With a Slytherin thermos. Because that's how they roll. No words, but dessert and tea. You know what? I think that's a couple hundred words at least for dessert and tea. I think so. Natalie says they've edited 1,329 words. Still got 2,451 left in the chapter.
Wow.
That is 1, amazing, and 2, good luck. It's time to kill the babies.
Oh,
Fix the
CB
flow.
did respond. Scotland.
Okay. Why did my lag this? I keep messing up. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm American and geography is not our strength. I apologize.
My husband thought that Tennessee was next to Louisiana.
Oh.
I mean,
okay,
not
I have seen those
touching.
maps, though.
Touching.
I have seen those maps because Mississippi is the forgotten state.
oh yeah, there's been plenty of maps where Mississippi is not on there. And I'm like, did you know that we're older than a whole bunch of other states?
I still remember, what was it, Katrina? Hurricane Katrina?
Jimmy Buffett's shirt had no Mississippi, and Jimmy Buffett literally went to school here and was like, nope, not a place. Don't know it, never heard of it. Screw Mississippi. And I'm like, I get it, but Fuck you too.
The news actually said that the hurricane hit between Louisiana and Alabama.
And I'm like, did you know there's a state between
What?
Louisiana and Alabama? And that's where it hit? Like, yeah.
We were talking about where we were going to go on a road trip because we went on a road trip in our RV last summer. We were talking about it. And I was like, well, I really want to go to Georgia, but I think it's really far. And he's like, well, we're going to Louisiana. Isn't like Tennessee and Georgia right there? I'm like, oh my God, I am the navigator. I will always be the navigator. You can't drive us anywhere.
Yes.
He's
Yeah,
like, well, he
fun
goes, well, my
fact.
mom didn't think geography was really that important, so she didn't make us study it very much. He was homeschooled, but like apparently not in math skills.
No, even in the public school curriculum, geography is rarely its own subject.
Oh no, my kids all have geography as a separate subject altogether.
And it's been like that since the 70s. I say as somebody who has a literal degree in education and inadvertently in education history. No, geography is rarely ever its own subject until AP high school, and rarely even then, it's college is when geography becomes its own subject. And that's a problem. But anyhow, Charlie says they had French bread pizzas and got back to editing the video. French bread pizza is amazing, and good luck with the editing. I do not envy you. Yes, pizza sounds great, Natalie. Let's see. Actually, I got one word. I wrote concussion. You know? Whatever. Okay. No one should ever read Atlas Shrugged.
Got
What?
to start somewhere.
Nope.
So
Okay.
I've never read that book. I just know it's a really fat book. And like people like write essays about it. So that's why I came up with that one
Okay.
when I was talking about it, Charlie.
So I know.
As someone who's actually
And
read
as
that
somebody
book,
who's interlibrary loan for other patrons, that book is an audiobook. It is the most number of CDs and cassettes, whatever format you're going for, of any audiobook I have come across in my 6-year library career. It is more than 60 CDs or cassettes.
What?
You will. It is. I want to say it's like 58 hours as an audiobook, or something like maybe 56 hours as an audiobook, and it is like one of the longest. Like aside from the Bible, it is one of the longest audiobooks like in circulation anywhere, not just our library, because we would always have to ILL it because ain't nobody stocking that one. I think Florida tends to lend it to us. Anyway.
I've read
I
that
know.
stupid book, and
Tell us
Tell
I
us how
don't
you really
recommend
feel,
it.
Everett.
Don't recommend it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Atlas Shrugged is on that list of authors who become known for something, but deep down, no, they don't actually believe any of that. Atlas Shrugged is on that list of, you know what? She totally took like all the Social Security she could get, all the free healthcare, everything. Like, no, she just wrote this as an experiment.
Right.
She was
It's like,
not
like a lot
practicing.
of writers. We all do writing experiments, thought experiments. That doesn't mean we believe all this stuff all the time.
You know,
Not for
Marx
every
was
single
not.
character.
Yeah, Marx was not a Marxist.
That is so true. It's true. Well, CB mentions that they did stay up for all of the Write-a-thon, and then there's the Ren Fair this weekend. Thank you for helping me, CB. So I'll have a panel at the Ren Fair this Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. I think it might, or 5 p.m. I don't know. I think I have the correct time in the live stream details on my channel, because I am still exhausted and I can't remember things right, and I'm so sorry. But I will have a panel on food and medicine as part of Charlie and Abigail and my 3-parter about world building in the medieval/fantasy setting. We're going to build a world together using our different research backgrounds to kind of guide everybody through basic world building. And it's going to be super fun, and you should totally come to at least all of our panels. No bias. Okay. CB says, and then there's 1 weekend left, and then Nano. It is Nano. Scotland, and it is cold, wet, and miserable. I have heard that. I've heard that a few times. I still want to go. I did like Burniston. Let's see. Why won't you come on? I learned state capitals. Well, you're doing better than a lot of Americans. feel good. First Game of Thrones book is 46-ish hours. Yes. Forgive me for saying this, but some people are desperately in need of an editor. All the Harry Potter books are 117 hours and 4 minutes. Again, especially toward the last couple books.
Oh my God.
She needed somebody actually tell her, no, you have to pare this down. But anyway, I didn't read it. I just had to listen to other people talk about it. Yes, so poorly written. A 45-page soliloquy by a madman who starts a terrorist organization to take over the country. Which one are we talking about? I feel like this is a metaphor. I feel like we're talking about several books that we've just discussed. It could apply. Anyway, all right, maybe that's me. I don't mean to be that.
It could work for so many of them.
I was saying, is that Harry Potter or Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I was like, are we talking about Atlas Shrugged, Game of Thrones, or Harry Potter, or all three? Because Charlie is that witty. So it could honestly apply. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyhow, one of the things that I didn't hear before talking about creativity outlets was the one that was introduced to me when I started going to therapy in my late teens and early 20s. And it was really popular. And what I didn't know is the history of it. And that is good old magazine collages. Has anybody told you about how fantastic magazine collages are?
What to do with all those old magazines?
Right, because you can get those sometimes for free from your public library or like the trash, as well as all the magazines that are sent unsolicited to people. And you cut out words, pictures, maybe not making ransom notes. I'm throwing that out there. And you stick them to a board, like a poster board, like the 50-cent $1 poster boards from Dollar General or whatever.
Or a foam core board.
Or a foam core. I was trying to go low class here, but you do you. I don't care. And it is surprisingly therapeutic, honestly, to do it. Now, what I found out was back in the 30s, what they used to do, number one, because most magazines were in black and white, they would cut out, say, pictures or whatever, and then they would use watercolors or other paints to paint in, or they would use colored pencils and they would draw in stuff, and they would then make collages that way, which can be very fun. Of course, my favorite adhesive du jour is rubber cement. You can just peel it off. I don't know. Everybody's got an adhesive they love. I'm not judging. Mod Podge, yeah. You really, honestly, I have been known to use glitter glue when I couldn't find anything else, or tape. A lot of people use double-sided sticky tape unless they have a problem with stickiness. I have inadvertently found out secrets about friends that way. I did not know.
When people say that they have a problem with stickiness, they're not always joking. This is not an understatement.
I could understand honey. Oh yeah, you don't want to get honey residue on you. But apparently double-sided sticky tape is political and controversial. I did not know. I learned inadvertently.
I use double-sided sticky tape.
I like double-sided sticky tape.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am a fan. I also like foam core sticky little squares because you can give your thing height. So then you have not exactly a 3D effect, but it's sort of like that. And I love it. But photo collages can be very therapeutic, especially if you pair it with your, questionable poetry. Throwing that out there. I have written a lot of bad poetry to deal with my PTSD. I mean, it's a lot of bad stuff. So collages help. They were really popular in the late 90s and early 2000s. I don't really hear anybody talk about them anymore, even though copyright laws have improved. So if you just transform it by 25%, you're fine even taking pictures of your work and showing it, even though you are, even though it's derivative artwork. As long as you do something to it, I don't know, put a top hat and a mustache on somebody, and you have transformed it by 25%. Don't quote me on that. So,
one of my favorite artists is a guy named Ray Johnson, and he was a collage artist, and he passed away in the late 90s. But he was he always took the labels and stuff off of products and used those in his collages. I
Yeah.
forget which brand of cigarette he smoked, but he always took the label off of it, and those were always on there.
I did a whole piece once that was sort of, honestly, it was my ode to Charlotte's Web. You remember where Templeton would go get the labels? So,
Right.
and I didn't have some of those labels, so I just used like the soap that I was using at the time, and you know, and just all of that, and I used those labels, and I found it very cathartic, plus just enjoyable, and a lot of other people enjoyed looking at it because they would spot which brands and what is this copy, this writing from, and it was a lot of fun. Actually, it was quite whimsical, and there was glitter. I love glitter, especially glue glitter, because that doesn't go everywhere.
Yeah.
So you don't
Right.
have to worry about it. But I the one person that told me like what they used to do in the 30s, 40s, and 50s was, and so I did this as a child. So you take something where you have near identical pictures. I use strawberry shortcake because that's how I roll. I had a strawberry shortcake coloring book, and there were 2 strawberry shortcake pictures that looked almost the same. Why is there somebody mowing a lawn right there next to me? I'm sorry if y'all can hear this. No,
I can't hear anything.
No.
No.
it is so loud right now next to me that I'm like, good Lord of all the days. Anyway,
Thank God for directional audio.
well, they're right. I think they're in the neighbors area, and it's not the neighbors have no control because it's a rental. But anyway, so you take 2 pictures that are approximately same size. So for instance, I'm just going to use my hand. And you color them in. You do whatever you're doing to your pictures if you're coloring them or anything. And you cut them out so that they approximately match each other. And then you sew them together, either with thread or yarn, which honestly, for most needles, you don't even need to pre-cut holes into the paper. But you sew most of the way, not all the way. Like you leave one side open and you stuff. You could stuff shredded paper. You could stuff fiberfill or cut up foam. Be careful with cut up foam because you don't want to breathe that in. And you then sew it the rest of the way. And then you have this squishy toy thing. I think that's actually the predecessor to those puff stickers that were so hugely popular in the 80s and 90s. Who remembers those? Yes, I love them. I had a whole sticker book. And they would make these, and they would also put those in collages. So, because you can honestly do it with just one side and then put a little fiberfill or shredded paper inside that paper and then glue it to your board or whatever your display is. And it gives, again, that 3-dimensional to show, like, this is important. So you want this to kind of jump out at the viewer. Just bringing that up, just throwing that out there. Thoughts and feelings. Mm-hmm. So, where are we?
I think we should talk about something Tom mentioned earlier.
Uh-huh.
That when our creative batteries are running low, what do we do to recharge?
Pretend to sleep. I don't know.
Does that work?
No, it
I was
doesn't.
going to say, like, does it even make your kids leave you alone? Because I've never had
No.
children to leave me alone when I pretend sleep.
No. They don't even leave me alone when I'm like, I'm busy for the next 20 minutes. Leave me be. Like, they keep
But
on
Mom-
interrupting me while I was in here.
But Mom, I have stuff.
They will bypass Dad to come ask me. I'm like,
Mhm.
he's right there.
Right.
When I say I'm busy, when my door is shut, don't knock on it and say, Mom.
Yes.
But Mom,
So yesterday I was like, I don't care. I'm not in charge. I tag teamed out. Like, Jesse, I was like, yeah, Jesse, you're in. I'm out. He's out. Dad's making lunch. He's making dinner. I don't care. Don't ask me. I don't do it very often, but it's nice.
That's awesome.
I mean, eventually they might catch on. Don't talk to Mom. Yeah, right. I can only dream, right?
I mean, I know one day you'll miss it, because they'll be so independent. You're like, I kind of miss when they like did not respect boundaries, but
I think to me, like one of the big things for when your creative batteries start discharged is go back to someone else's creative work that you enjoy living in. Like, for Glory and I, one of the perennials are Terry Pratchett's Discworld. It's always kind of cathartic to just listen to this, more functional world. And Doctor Who, especially like the first 8 seasons.
9. I mean, 10 because I love Bill. So
sure. I do enjoy Bill.
Yeah,
Bill was awesome.
Yes. I love Bill. I love like that she found herself an alien fluid to run off with. I think that's awesome.
I thought that was a good storyline for her.
I can drive anything. I could drive you. Like, oh, it's flirting now. Oh, this is how alien fluids flirt. I'm here for this.
We just didn't have Bill long enough.
I miss her. I honestly.
I wanted to see Bill around River.
Oh yeah.
That would have been fun.
Yes. Oh yeah, I did not even think about that, but yes, the flirting would have been so much, and the doctor would have been upset that nobody's flirting with him, and I'm like, or her, or whatever at the time. I'm like, yes, I want this.
I haven't seen all of the latest season, but has Jodie Whittaker's doctor seen River yet?
I
don't know.
Not that I heard.
I've only seen like the first 3 episodes of her first season as a doctor, so I'm super behind.
As far as I heard, the only one from the past who's shown up in the Jodie Whittaker run has been Captain Jack. Has shown up.
Oh, nice! I heard about that, right?
But no one else. They haven't brought in anyone else, because which I have a good, strong theory now after hearing a lot of behind the scenes on Star Wars and Star Trek and J.J. Abrams of, to answer the real question of, in Star Wars, in this latest trilogy, why did, what's his name, C-3PO have a red arm?
Mm-hmm.
They came up with, some in-universe stuff, but the real reason, because he's 25% different.
Yep.
So they don't have to pay creative rights to the previous creator. They can keep all the money for themselves. And that is everything that happened with J.J. Abrams running everything.
Yep.
It was changed so things would be just different enough they don't have to pay. And that was what was really annoying and just,
Yeah, so, I mean, there's no telling if there will be River Song showing up because that whole creative rights thing.
Yeah. Versus, I just don't like him as a writer. I love Jodie Whittaker. She's a really fun actress. But the stuff she's been given to, act with. Ugh. Yeah, I haven't liked the stories either. I made it through, the first 3 episodes with Jodie Whittaker, and then the, whatever the one was with the Master comes back.
Yes.
I saw the previews for that. I never watched that one, so I think maybe only the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, where Ada Lovelace.
It was fun.
Yeah.
That
was the most recent one I've seen.
Same.
But a lot of the rest of it, nothing has sounded that interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I like Jodie Whittaker as the doctor. I did not necessarily enjoy all the writing for the doctor. In these last 2 seasons, so we could always keep hoping it gets better. I hear they're going to have a Christmas episode this year for the Doctor.
Don't they usually have a Christmas episode?
Not since Chris Chibnall took over.
Oh well.
Yes,
I'm a little behind. Sorry, people.
I one of the things I always look forward to was watching Doctor Who for Christmas. Like that was like, yes, this is how we celebrate Christmas, and. For Chris Chibnall in the last 2 years, because all the Christmas episodes are all Moffat. Even after Chris Chibnall took over, there was that one Christmas episode when the Doctor doesn't want to change into Jodie Whittaker, Peter Capaldi's to Jodie Whittaker.
Okay.
That episode was written by Moffat with help from Gaddis, from what I understand. Because Chris Chibnall's like, I don't do Christmas episodes. And I was like...
Russell Davies didn't do
Maybe Russell Davies was involved too, because that was it. I think Stephen Moffat emailed Russell T Davies of like, hey, wouldn't this be cool Christmas episode? And Russell T Davies was like, well, let's see if they're interested in this, and they proposed it. But again, Chris Chibnall was not involved with that episode because he doesn't do Christmas. And I'm like, it's a kid's show. Children love holidays. Why have you missed out on it? Is anyway? I could go off for a while. I'll save that for another episode.
My kids have watched. My two younger kids have watched all the Doctor Who since it came back into color. Not the black and white version, but the colored version. And there's like 2 episodes or 3 that they haven't watched because I know it'll give them nightmares. Like the Weeping Angels ones. Those are the ones I don't let them watch.
Yeah, I can't watch that unchaperoned to this day, and I'm an adult. They're so scary.
I mean, I've watched them several times, and I still jump. It doesn't matter which episode it is.
Yes.
It's a rough one.
Yeah, it's like watching the Borg episodes from The Next Generation when they were actually, kind of scary and just overwhelming.
Yes. Before I forget, hello, Felix Warp. You seem so familiar. If only we knew who you were. Welcome, welcome. Everett, any clue who this could be, this stranger who's wandered in?
Oh, I know totally who it is, and they're supposed to be in there washing dishes.
Ooh. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. But thank you for coming by, Felix. And
Who is
good
Felix?
luck with the dishes.
My son.
Oh, okay.
Yes. He should be out there washing dishes.
If he's supposed to be watching dishes, why hop on a stream that you're on? He's just going to tell on himself.
Isn't that the point of being a teenager?
Youth today.
He's 14. They don't think things through.
No. My 12-year-old doesn't all the time either.
CB had a good one that I hadn't thought about for a bit, but also playing video games. Again, it's this activity that kind of gives you a specific outlet for, creative thought as you're problem solving.
I have a lot of friends who pro wrestling is their escapism as well.
And I think CB's written some pro wrestling fan fiction, like with the McMahons. Oh, I'm so bad with names, y'all. You know it. It's bad.
Yeah, it was McMahon's. It was. Oh, it sounded so trashy and fun.
It sounded great. I do love that Tom and CB did this joke. One person brings glitter to an art group of 10 people for their poster at the end of the day. How many people have glitter on their crafts? Everyone.
What I thought, really, the glitter theory of contagion is perfect.
Right. Natalie says, I soak in other creative work instead of feeling the need to create it. It's so nice to just dip into other people's worlds.
Yeah.
CB says, I'm not a Whovian in the least. However, my favorite BBC TV series called The Midwife starts back Christmas Day. Is it possible for me to get through a single season of Call the Midwife without tears? It hasn't happened so far.
Okay, hold on.
Pull my heartstrings, little children in the cold. I can't handle it.
So I haven't actually watched it. Is it worth watching, Gloria?
It is good. It depends on if you like drama and it's a bit sentimental. Okay. I mean, some people hate sentimentality. This is like rolling in sentimentality, but it's not necessarily heavy-handed most of the time. I mean, some of the time it is, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I mean, when they were talking about the evils of the workhouses, I know enough to absolutely 1000% agree with Call the Midwife about how horrible they were to people. So I didn't think of it as heavy-handed as much as, if anything, a bit more honest than most people are about that situation. I liked it, especially the first 3 seasons. Oh, gosh. Watched the crap out of that.
How many seasons is it now?
6, 7. I
6
have
or
lost
7.
count.
Somewhere around there.
Okay.
And the Christmas episodes, you will tear up. It is just a law. You will tear up. There's so much sweetness. Oh, with the like, they got me with that one episode when it's like 2 people that no longer lived in the asylum because they closed the asylum. But these people had been there their whole life, so they didn't know how to take care of themselves very well. But they were doing their best to take care of each other. Oh, and then she thought she was pregnant, but I don't want to ruin it, but like it was like, oh God, the sweetness. They love each other, but they're just like.
So you're saying that I should avoid writing and watch this instead?
I mean, if it's your thing, I think you'll love it.
No, it sounds good. It sounds like I would like it.
Yeah. As I said, I'm not normally into the tearjerker stuff, but it is well written enough that I enjoy the storytelling, even though they have a narrator and supposedly narration is like no longer in vogue. I like the voiceover with Vanessa Redgrave, I think, does the voiceover.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's such a lovely voice.
If you look in the chat, CB is keeping up and giving you comments. It's
No.
10 seasons.
Oh, thank you, darling. Let's see.
It's 10 already.
Right now. Yes, Vince and Linda McMahon are Pepper Potts godparents. So I'm totally linking worlds. Oh, good for you. I love that. Liam Neeson's mother-in-law Vanessa is in it. Yes. Call the Midwife. That is not this epic.
Got it.
This good Lord. Yes. And of course I do love Miranda Hart. I was sad when, I think after the 4th or 6th season, she's not really in it. And I loved Miranda Hart. I mean, she's just this tall,
she's wonderful,
hilarious, brilliant woman.
Yeah, Miranda Hart's part of why you won't really watch Lucifer.
I got really mad at Tom Ellis in Miranda's comedy because that character just was crap, and that was why I did not get into Lucifer, because I was still mad at Tom Ellis,
which I find hilarious, since in real life Tom Ellis and Miranda are such good friends. Like, they wear necklaces for each other.
They're besties. They're besties. Yeah. So it is, if you like, if you read the description like on Netflix and you like what you read for Call the Midwife, then you're probably going to love it. My mother would have hated it. And then she would have secretly watched it and not admitted it to anybody. So, I love going into other people's worlds, other story worlds, as an escape from reality, as an escape from my own writing. It's a nice break to just enjoy a fun story. Anybody?
I love reading poetry. That's one of my favorite things to do to help kind of recharge. And I watch a lot of documentaries about visual artists and stuff.
I have found the oddest thing that's been recharging my batteries lately is Amazon has a bunch of documentaries about, what would you call it, Tom? Sports that aren't really sports. Like air hockey
niche sports.
Yeah, niche sports. And I love the drama. I love
my God.
how delightfully odd the cast of characters are. They remind me of people I know in real life or have known in the past. And I just enjoy, for an hour or two, it's just like, go on and tell me the story of air hockey.
How does it get even crazier?
Right. I had no idea there was so much drama in the world of air hockey. But
who tried to kill who?
Yes. What?
Wow.
What? Yeah. So I have been finding that has been something that's been kind of recharging my batteries. Do you have any poetry you could recommend to us for recharging our batteries? Or is there anything that's in mind?
Two of my favorites right now are Jim Harrison. He wrote the novel Legends of the Fall.
Okay.
And I really like his poetry. It's usually very pastoral and visual. He's describing a scene almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is a book by Anne Carson called Knox. It's basically a photocopy of this notebook she made about her brother when he passed away. And it starts with this ancient poem by the Greek author Catullus, his poem number 101, where he travels to Asia Minor to the grave of his brother after his brother passes away. She translates the poem word by word by page as you go through her book. She translates a word a page. And then other things, memories and pictures of her brother, little pieces of notes from letters and stuff. And it's so incredibly beautiful and so heartbreaking. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
All right, well, you told me.
And Louise Gluck. Louise Gluck. She won the Louise Gluck.
Okay.
She won the Nobel Prize for Literature last week. Her poetry's amazing.
I will definitely have to check it out. I mean, it sounds like something I'd really be into. Stephanie, do you have anything that recharges your batteries?
I like watching shows that I've watched a million times before.
Oh, yes.
Kind of just like, I mean, I still pay attention to them and I know what's going to happen, but I still like watching like TV series that I've watched dozens of times before. That's what I like to do. Like
it's so comforting sometimes. Yeah. Like just revisit old friends almost.
Yes. Also helps when you're waiting for new episodes to come out. You just rewatch the latest season.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yes, that's what Glory did with the latest with what was it? Star Trek Lower Decks.
I've been binging. Sorry.
No,
go on.
I've been binging Golden Girls lately.
That's a fun show.
I love that show so much.
Oh, that reminds me. Glory, what's the other one you're gonna start binging again?
Well, Designing Women got me through June and most of July, and then Charlie told me that everything that Carlene and Charlene talk about Poplar Bluffs actually happened and was real people. Like, there's nothing changed about the reality of what happened. And I'm like, well, I have to go rewatch all like 6 or 7 seasons now, knowing full well that these are real people, these are their real names, and this is what really happened. Because, I mean, these stories are hilarious and they're so off the wall, but I thought they were fiction. It's like, to find out, oh no, they're 1000% real. I have to now go revisit this.
I love that show. It was so well written.
Yeah.
I also like Seinfeld. That one's a favorite.
When you know you're smarter than all the characters.
So true, though. I hadn't thought of it that way. But yeah.
At least more emotionally mature.
Yes.
Just a tad, right?
Just a tad. Just a tad, right? Tad.
Right. Yeah, a tad.
Oh. Let's see where we. CB says Irish dancing is the most drama-filled thing they've ever encountered in their entire life. Yeah, I have only recently found out more about Irish dancing drama, and it is amazing.
Wasn't it on Amazon that there was that documentary that had or no, it had to have been Scottish dancing because it was what's his name?
Michael Flatley.
No.
Connolly.
Michael Connolly.
Yeah, was it Michael Connolly?
I thought it was something Connolly. The guy who played the father in
Boondocks,
in the Boondock Saints. And he's just talking about why is it little girls doing this dance? These are war dances.
This is hunter dancing. Why are the girls doing men's hunting dancing? And I'm like, I don't know, but go on. And he starts going into the drama behind the scenes, and I'm like, So yeah, maybe it's just dancing in general has drama. CB says it's actually better than Downton Abbey, and it takes a lot for me to say that. Oh, the drama. Okay, I feel that way about the movie Soap Dish. The drama. I love how deliciously terrible that movie is. I love all the drama. I love that they just keep topping it. Like, they crank it up to like 11. It's fantastic.
I've never seen that.
You have missed out, my darling. We will have to
Yeah.
get you a copy. It's so good.
All right.
Sally Field is in it. Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, I remember it.
Klein.
I just-
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary Marshall has a cameo or two. It is absolutely
My
fantastic.
golf partner says the show should be called The Sun Also Sucks.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
CB,
delightful.
CB just, remind me of another one of stuff we really enjoy rewatching. Now,
Hmm.
she just said, all of The Simpsons from season 4 through season 20, but the Simpson Treehouse of Horrors.
Yes,
That is
I
a
do.
great collection.
I really enjoy rewatching that, letting it just run on my hard drive. Because they really let those characters just go wild in the Treehouse of Horror beyond what their normal parameters are, and it's fantastic. By the way, Everett has put in the chat for anybody, including moi, to actually know how to spell things, because that's not how I was going to spell a lot of it. So thank you, Everett. CB says, whenever I feel like I need a boost, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot and the Golden Girls. I thought I was familiar with most of T.S. Eliot's work, and
you are familiar with it. You've just forgotten.
The Book
Keep
of
going, because she said it's the one that the musical Cats is based on.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
So weird
poems are
and
fun.
wonderful.
Look, I read that book as a kid, the Book of Poetry, and that is not how I would have interpreted into a Broadway musical, is all I got to say. I think there was something lost in the translation.
Yeah, I know. Cocaine,
I
Glory.
prefer.
Cocaine.
I
I can believe it.
prefer the take that Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt has on Cats, where they're just a bunch of actors at random.
Yeah.
Is there like a jump cut? We could just watch this. CB says Irish dancing and Highland dancing. Yeah, what is up with the drama? I don't get it, but okay. Treehouse of Horror. It's awesome.
And 5 is particularly good, yeah.
Yes.
Which one is 5?
The sixth year. The
I'll
sixth
go-
season has Treehouse of Horror 5.
Yeah, go look
Okay,
up real
is
quick
that-
the episode.
Is that the
with-
one with Genesis Tub? The little petri dish that
I think
Lisa
that might be.
has
Yeah, I think that
that
might be
becomes sentient.
Yeah, what
the
was it? She made
bacteria.
little Protestants or little Lutherans or something.
Yeah.
Oh, Lutherans. Yeah, because they nailed their theses to the door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wikipedia has come through for us.
Yes, it has the shinning. I still use that joke to this day.
We do still make the shitting joke.
We're not paying copyright.
Yeah, Time and Punishment. Homer breaks the toaster, and then he goes to all these different worlds. And then Nightmare Cafeteria.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Oh, you don't remember? That's when I honestly want to say that's maybe when Gooter may actually show up the first time, or at least that's the only time I first noticed Gooter, because then they have Oktoberfest and Gooter goes missing. And they just, then they're keeping the kids in cages, some of them to fatten them up. It's really...
It's been a while.
It's a serious commentary on the American food system.
Yeah.
I bet.
CB says 5 was the 3D one.
Yeah, it is. That's
Okay, because
time
like
and-
we didn't have a 3D.
yeah, that's the toaster and the time one. Because at the end of it, he goes into the 3D realm.
Oh, that's right. And they what?
Yeah, and they put him into the real world.
Was that
Remember
the
that was-
one?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember that.
No, I thought the toaster was a different one where he keeps going to all these different worlds and he keeps messing up, and then he ends up with like the Fly family.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, that was the.
Yeah, I think I want to say don't quote me on this, but I think maybe Treehouse of Horror 8 was the one with the 3D Homer, where
Okay.
he's walking down like Hollywood and Vine or something.
Yeah.
There are so many good ones. There are so many good ones. Happy
really
Halloween, y'all. Happy Halloween. Well, I think we've had a wonderful time. It's been almost 2 hours. Shall
Almost.
we do some outros and wrap it up?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Sure.
think
We
might
good?
actually-
Yes, Stephanie's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm teasing. I'm so teasy.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I did not.
You're
I
fine.
just,
No,
you
you're
know
good.
how like with family, it's like, because it's time, y'all. It's time. Fun fact. I read an article, and I believe the Irish Times, that the Irish goodbye is real, and it's 2 different interpretations of the Irish goodbye. One, when people won't leave, throwing their coats out onto the front lawn, so they will go get them and leave, and you can lock the door. And if you are the guest and you wish to Irish goodbye leave, you just, disappear out the back door, the side door, or whatever without saying goodbye. And I would have thought that this was a really rude commentary on Irish, except I read this in the Irish Times. And honestly, to this day, Tom and I debate whether this was a joke article or whether this is a legitimate article about Irish culture. And we don't know, but we are amused either way.
I
never-
would that one that'd be like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm just gonna go and like leave.
Right. I mean, like, we have snuck out of a couple parties, we have to admit, without telling people because it's time to go. But it's never occurred to me, even when, like, I've had people who wouldn't leave the house, it's never occurred to me to take their coats and their purses and throw them out on the lawn and say, go get it, and lock the door behind them.
That's funny. That would
I
be
mean,
funny.
and apparently in Ireland, since most of the houses are 2 stories or 3 stories, they throw them from the 2nd floor window to really get it far away from the house.
Nice.
I mean, I'm off. Okay. I have no idea if this is a joke or this is true. I don't know.
I hope it's true.
I really kind of want it to be true. But
That'd be hilarious if it was true.
is this what they do in Ireland? This is amazing.
Because
Okay,
I have
real
Irish
quick.
in me, because then I can just start throwing people's coats out the door and it'd be totally fine.
So
Yeah.
here's a real. This is a family. I don't know what you call it, but this is actually in our family's letters from 100 years ago. Okay, 90 years ago, and this is a real commentary.
It was written on a grocery bag. And so I'm reading it in pencil.
Oh, in I want to say it was in Denver, Colorado. Like they, some of the family was running a hotel or a tenement or something, and there's this comment about how they keep throwing the what do you call it? Like the couch out of this 3rd floor.
Well, that the Irish tenants keep like breaking their lease by throwing all the furniture out of the house, out of the apartment from whatever floor they're on.
And so no more renting to them. And said, oh, but what about this one family? They're so nice. And then there's a follow-up letter.
There's a follow-up letter.
They broke their lease since there was no furniture that had been provided. They literally took the kitchen sink.
They undid the kitchen sink and threw it out the 3rd floor window.
Wow.
It was like, just no more Irish
And
tenants.
I'm like, why would you do this? If you just break the lease, just take your stuff and leave. I mean, and they're literally in the letter, our family members are like, why would you do? I mean, like, I'm saying this to Tom. Why? And then literally there's, great grandma Gussie going, why would they do this? Why didn't they just take their stuff and leave? And then yeah. So I don't know.
Hey, go look at the bottom comments.
Apparently Irish dancing started because dancing was banned in the Republic of Ireland. Yeah. I like that sort of flipping off. Yep.
Like, that is everything I've heard about the Irish.
Right. So, would anybody like to do an outro? Tell us about what you got coming up anywhere. Tell us anything you want. Stephanie, you want to start?
Sure.
Or do you want us to come back to you? I can fill time.
Come back. Come back.
Okay. Everett, you got anything, or should I fill some time?
All I was going to say is last year I had a contest where musicians could enter and win a free piece from me, and I'm in the process of finishing those.
Ooh,
I'm finishing a couple pieces for percussion and a piece for women's choir.
that sounds
and
exciting.
Then I can start on my first symphony. So that's the exciting part.
Stephanie, should I keep talking? Okay. So, Tom, do you want to talk about anything? Like, you got anything coming up? You want to talk about anything? Nothing.
Not particular. I'm going to leave a comment, though, with the YouTube artist. I really recommend for if you want to start learning some different skills.
Sure.
Like the Art Sherpa for painting and Crochet Crowd and Food Wishes.
Okay, because I figured we'd put it in the description, but if you want to do that, that's cool.
Okay, well, yeah, no, if you want to put in the description, that's fine.
But CB says apparently people dance behind one of those split barn doors, but have the top half open and the bottom half close to the priest wouldn't see what their feet were doing. I love this up your attitude. I love it so much. Gorgeous. I feel
that
this
is a true middle finger.
I love it. I love it. Okay, Stephanie, you got anything?
I'm ready. No distractions.
Okay.
Let's see here. I been working on a book and I finished it and I have it up on pre-order on Amazon.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was going to wait until a specific date, but it was ready.
Right.
And then so I pushed set the pre-order button, and then I am not looking at anything for a long time. So that's why I'm doing that, and then I'm working on outlining my project for Nano, which is going to be a murder mystery series based around phobias. I studied phobias when I was studying psychology in school, and we did this whole class on phobias. So I'm like, well, what if someone got hurt or something based around their phobias from A to Z? So I thought that might be fun.
Oh, that sounds really interesting.
So we'll see if that even pans out, but that's an idea.
That's awesome.
So
if you haven't already, I highly recommend that you follow Stephanie. She is in the description. There will possibly be more links at a later moment soon. She is wonderful. She is so talented. If you have not already found how amazing she is and her lovely Instagrams as well, please get on board. Everett, again, is my favorite curmudgeon on the whole planet, who at least is still alive. Nothing personal, but you are in competition with Waldorf and Statler. Why do I always want to? Anyway, I don't want to go it. But you're my favorite human curmudgeon. And
thank you.
He has a wonderful Twitter account. He is so talented. I only hope to live up to Everett's talent one day and also be able to share my creative works. In the meantime, if you are not already familiar with Awkward Sibling Hour, the link to the playlist is in the description, so you could play through anytime. We will keep you company as you do all your things. We are happy to be here. Next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we start our new season of Awkward Siblings Go to the Movies, where we enjoy retelling and then analyzing storytelling in movies. Because why not? And we're going to do that for the rest of this year. We're just going to talk about movies because we love it. And we hope you'll come and you'll talk about movies with us because that's how, we roll, y'all. Also, I've got a panel coming up this Saturday for the virtual Ren Fair. And I hope you will come to the virtual Ren Fair. It is all of free, y'all. You can dress up if you want or not. You don't have to. You will have to provide your own turkey legs. I'm so sorry. But that's what the plague has done to all of us. We have to do our own cooking. So anyhow, we hope you will come back and see us next Monday at 4. And thank you so much for coming. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.